Welcome to the World Famous Society X podcast. You like how I threw that world famous in there? It's kind of dope.
You
I like
do that
it.
every week.
I really don't. That's my second week doing it.
Oh,
The greatest podcast on earth.
Jeepo?
Jeepo. I like that. Yeah. Hashtag Jeepo. We're gonna put that up there on everything now. Thank you, Leezy. Well, today we got a
Her
episode.
eyes didn't mean that was legitimate.
Well, it was.
Okay.
In my head, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got my man Kory is here. The Kory era.
I'm back.
You died last week.
turbulent
You definitely
last
died.
week. Shout out to all the people that listened that made fun of me for last week. I
some
I
haven't.
heard
joke.
you let my ancestors down.
I don't know.
My Irish ancestors are upset with you.
Yeah, honestly, my liver failed me, and
Your superior white liver
my superior
definitely
white
didn't
liver
come to work.
did not show up for work that day, and I don't remember the last 20 minutes of your world famous podcast. So
Well, people need to definitely listen to the last 20 minutes. Listen to the whole
This
thing.
was the one on cheating?
No, this was Hoe is Life.
Hoe is
Hoe is
Life.
Hoe
I
is
mean,
Life.
yeah. Well, y'all had a conversation with the girls about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
You
man.
gotta listen to the
Yeah.
last 15, 20 minutes.
I'm sure your views are your listens are gonna go through the roof.
They
now.
probably will.
Yeah, it's because of me, as always.
No, not at all.
I mean, I'm here.
I bring numbers to his podcast.
So
you
do
really
I.
don't,
Yeah.
actually.
So do I. Just saying.
We said this before. You really don't.
In my head, they do. So
Okay. Well, how's your week going?
I was going great. I'm just enjoying life, having a good time, and not drinking. So
How long is this going to last?
no, not long. Not
Until
long.
the three of us go to happy
yeah,
hour.
pretty much.
Oh, I was severely hungover the next day. Like I haven't been hungover like that since grade school. So
Grade school.
He's white.
When you say
yeah.
grade school, I instantly think of you in like the 4th grade.
It might have been doing
see
shots
that.
of Jameson under those desks that they lift up.
Oh, you're serious?
No, I wasn't. I'm not serious.
What were you drinking?
I was just drinking Crown and a beer. So
A lot of Crown.
yeah, I put a lot of Crown in that cup.
Yeah.
And I drank on an empty stomach, like a completely empty stomach. I didn't have lunch and I didn't have dinner. Like I came here just off breakfast alone.
He went like good. He was good for like the first hour or so, and then it just went straight to hell after that.
yeah,
That shit was bad.
that plane crashed hard.
All right, but we ain't really talking about you no more.
Thank you.
But this week's podcast is really a podcast about podcasts.
It's very meta.
Very meta, yeah. So we got a couple people in here that have their own podcast or are part of a podcast. Excuse me, had a burp and shit. So we got my man Wade Blogs. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you, brother?
Doing good, man. What's your podcast for people that don't know?
The Words with Wade podcast.
Shout out to people that
Riveting title.
Yeah, it's literal Words with Wade. You know what I mean? What's that
Also, very
alliteration?
meta.
Yeah, fourth wall break. Yeah. Me, my co-host G Lai and Ari. We're doing it for like a year and a couple of months now. Jay Bray, our producer. Just everybody.
Radio Ready.
Yeah, Radio Ready.
Oh, shout out to Radio Ready.
Yeah.
Radio
Shouty,
Ready.
shouty.
And what is your podcast about?
It's just current events, hip hop based podcasts. We talk about things that happen in the news or whatever is interesting to us that people want to talk about. It's more of a conversation piece. It's not like an interview thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Treezy, you good? Okay.
We gotta make sure you don't die.
Yeah, can't have you down out here.
Your eyes watering over there, like. All right.
And that wonderful but irritating voice that you just hear is
Nigga, fuck you.
the wonderful C. Leezy. How are you doing, man?
I'm young Leezy when I'm on the pod.
Oh,
but-
sorry. You got so many names, huh?
I do. I got aliases. I don't got warrants though.
And your first name only has one S, by the way.
Yeah, it does because you
Yeah.
spelled my name wrong as fuck earlier.
Not as fuck.
I mean, how long we've been knowing each other? Like a smooth 10 years.
True, but I know if it was a double L and a double S.
No, there's just 2 L's, 1 S.
See? It needs to be a double L and a double S.
Well, I tell you what, you can try to fight my mama over, but I'm pretty
Oh.
much sure she can whoop your ass.
Double L in your first name?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
which we do not disclose on podcast.
Okay. So how are you doing
Yeah,
today,
because that's
though?
the world's worst kept secret.
Yeah.
I got a day job still.
Okay.
I'm still out here. I hurt my hand yesterday boxing. Shout out to you, Shannon.
Yeah, shout out, Shannon.
I threw the uppercut and this shit landed wrong. My shit
Have you been in a real
fucked up.
fight?
Like since I started boxing?
Yeah.
No, I
I mean, like,
in real life have.
sparring or anything.
No, I haven't been. I thought you were asking me have I ever been in a fight in life.
Oh, no. I can see you getting knocked out.
I ain't never got knocked out.
I can definitely see you getting knocked
I
out.
never got knocked out.
Jumped.
I definitely never got jumped either.
Oh, okay. All right, well.
She got a little beat.
Yeah, got a little beat.
That's definitely not jumped in.
Oh, man.
That's definitely not being
Little
jumped
beat
in.
got jumped.
Oh no, I definitely didn't get little bead, and I definitely didn't get jumped.
Oh, okay.
You look like a
For people-
shanker to me. You
Nah,
look like you
I
have
punch you in your
the-
face though. So, I mean, in my former life, I'm a grown up now. I don't hit people. Not, I mean, outside of boxing.
For the 3 people that don't know who you are.
For the uninitiated.
Yeah. What podcast are you on?
So I am 1/5 of the Kind of Movie Critics podcast and 1/2 of the On Air Network, and I happen to be one of the executive producers for this here show.
That is true. That is very true.
I've been here a few times. I don't know if y'all know that.
You've been here like 3 times.
4.
Call
4.
somebody.
This is the 4th time.
Oh, okay. Well, who's counting?
She is.
Yeah, she definitely is.
Clearly.
Yeah. And then the last person we have up here is my man, Mr. Gallardo.
Yep.
How's everything going, brother?
Everything, man.
For real.
Everything.
I have, living your best life with all veggies and fruits and whatnot.
Yeah, man. All trying to go plant based, trying to get this thing off me a little bit more.
You've been having that gut for like 15 years, man.
Nah, I actually got it off, man. I had like 3 years off. It was gone, man. They were calling me a piece out here. And then, you know what I mean?
Got
It just-
emotional.
Yeah, I got a little comfortable, man.
Yeah.
You start to try and rely a little more, and it's like, nah, you gotta get that
Then
shit off.
started to eat one too many zebra cakes and it came right back.
Nah, not the zebra cakes, but Twinkies.
Why'd you look up to the ceiling
For
like
those
that?
of you who can't see,
He was
he
I saw the
stared,
light, man. I was going into the light.
he
like,
stared
yo,
lovingly off into the heavens about
He had a
Twinkies.
flashback right there.
Twinkies, man, fried with all types of shit.
Wow.
So for the people that don't know your podcast, what's your podcast about?
The Opinionated Podcast, man, and it's like a mixture of like me interviewing these local rappers, man, these animated characters, and then debating, man. It's a music based debate. I like to get my shit off.
Yeah, I already know that.
Your
You're debating.
Facebook account you have some threads.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I've seen that.
Yeah.
Where,
Of me and him arguing.
well, that or it'll be like, Cannabis is the greatest rapper of all time, and it'll be like 200 comments.
Yeah, I
you
did
know?
one. Actually, it's crazy because I just, in my memories, one that actually, like I did a post that actually, like literally went viral. Like I lost it. It was gone. So it came back around today and I was like, ... You know what I'm saying? And you know what that means? Like in the comments, like you want to bring it back
Bump
up.
it up.
You bring it back, you just drop the dot.
Oh, without having to repost it, you put something in there and then it
comes back
starts a
up.
conversation.
Then I
over.
delete it, but after like 4 people come back on it, and I just delete mine, so don't nobody know. But yeah, but
See,
yeah.
I normally just do the eyes.
Oh, you drop the eyes in
Just
there?
drop the
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
See, I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying?
They come back up.
Yeah.
Y'all having a strategy and shit.
Yeah, sometimes
It's marketing.
sometimes.
All right, so since
Kory's on a podcast too.
you want to shout?
He was gonna totally sideswipe me, but I'm part of the Kind of Movie Critics podcast, and where we talk about movies.
All right.
Yeah, and then I bless your podcast with my presence, so and my
Yeah.
wit and humor. So
You really don't do that. But
that's cool.
anywho, all right. So since we have everybody else has been here except for my man Wade, might as well get into
Like, shit, I'm fucking.
yeah.
Go ahead. Shoot.
You kind of interrupted me while I was saying my shit, so I got to say it again
Like, shit, I'm fucking.
so I can put the little voiceover and shit, So what's the story on how you lost your virginity, good sir?
Oh. I'm too old to remember that, fam.
Everybody remembers, man. I feel like you're trying to curve me.
Nah, it's not a curve. You gotta respect the curve, though. You gotta respect the curve. Nah, man, it's been without sounding too hoish. It's been a long time.
No, you got to sound hoish. Set the scene.
Nah, it's been a long
We're
time.
all
and a lot
adults
of,
here.
A lot of
Set the
it's been
scene.
a lot of other bodies between that time, fam. So
That's
I don't
cool.
remember.
That's normal.
I don't remember.
So
that.
it's not the losing your virginity that sounds hoish. It's that thing you do.
Well, hey, that's why I said not to sound hoish.
Oh, okay,
You know,
gotcha.
like with all due respect, and you said some disrespectful shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I was 12, 13.
God damn.
Yeah, I remember I'm from California originally, so we do things a little differently. And I think it was my brother's
fucking in middle school.
girlfriend. Yeah, clearly.
That's
yeah.
not super different.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
not too
a
different.
little. Yeah, I think it was my brother's girlfriend or something like that. I don't remember specifically.
Hold on, you smashed your brother's girlfriend?
See what had happened?
That went
was,
dark.
Wow.
That went.
See what had happened was, I
Was your
could,
brother a pimp?
no, back in the day I could sing. Well, I thought I could sing, and she was gassing me, like, "Oh, you sound so good, so good." I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Sound like
Whatever you
Tyrese in the back of the bus.
Yeah, I was trying something.
Sweet lady.
Young Jodeci or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, that was about
And
it.
then
I haven't
smash
thought
your
about
brother's
it.
girlfriend.
Yeah, man, shit
Gosh
happens.
almighty.
Hey, man, shit
So
happens.
did he find out?
Yeah, he knew like
His
immediately.
older brother?
Yeah, my older brother. He knew like immediately.
So your older brother's a pimp.
No, nothing of the sort.
Wait a minute, you said he knew immediately. Was he in
Yeah,
the room?
no, he knew like immediately, like, because it wasn't like a secret. She like told everybody.
Oh
like, yeah,
God! Listen. So he condoned it, or he broke up?
he
with
didn't
her?
condone. He broke up with her. And he was mad at me for like a day or two.
Oh,
but,
okay. Because that made it sound like he was like, "Yo, you should get that little man." Like,
Nah, he was just like, really.
So she was really a hoe.
Hey man, you know.
I didn't
But
want
he
to go
wasn't
there.
really a pimp.
but that's
Yeah, we
what
don't
I
call
was-
them hoes. It's just she was very friendly.
she's a free spirit.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
very
man,
free
you gotta
spirited.
stop with that shaming shit.
Yeah,
man.
she was
You
very
can't
free
be
spirited.
holistic. No whole shaming,
very,
man.
very free spirited, very open minded.
So
Slut walk.
I'm
Slut walking.
Slut
I ain't
Walk
gonna walk, I'm just
2017.
I'm a
that's
hoe
a lot.
too.
What you about to say, Shelly?
I mean, as sex positive as I am, you smash
That's
two brothers.
kinda
I'm
wild.
judging you. I am. I'm judging you. I'm saying it.
That's kind of
For
wild.
what?
It
We're doing
wasn't-
what?
I said as sex positive as I am, if you smash two brothers, I'm judging you.
I
No, I'm not
know
judging
people
you
have
for
done
that.
worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I mean,
now, if you
that must
smash
make-
your brother, that's a different conversation. But just smashing two brothers, like, what do you mean? That shit happens. Time passes. Like,
That happens.
I used to have a
Yes, it
coworker.
happens.
You got a
that-
brother,
I got two.
and y'all got a couple like same bodies.
But it's different because it can now you can be a hoe, but it doesn't make you a hoe. It's a case by case situation.
I think that's one
I
of the
completely agree.
qualifiers.
No.
There's
it's a case by
there's
case.
same bodies and smashing your girlfriend though. Like same bodies, the same bodies.
Like you actively go with one nigga and you sleep with his brother.
That's
But you gotta understand,
I mean,
we
it
were
could-
12,
that's
we were
kinda-
young. That doesn't. It doesn't.
Hold on,
That's
hold on.
different
No,
from
no, no,
being
no, no.
natural.
She was 12.
No, she was a little older, but I was
Had he
always
smashed
tall.
her?
Nah, they were like new.
Hold up.
So
hold
you
up, hold
smashed
up, hold up,
first?
hold up,
Yeah,
hold
shit
up.
happens.
If I was your brother, I'd hate you forever, yeah.
Listen.
You
What I
smashed the joint
always
before
said.
him.
What I always said. My brother may not always be right, but he's always my brother.
What is that?
That didn't really-
You're the
That
one
didn't
that's
do
wrong. You're the one that's wrong, not him.
Nah, I was innocent in all this.
He was the younger brother.
There you go, a little
But you
brother.
smashed
You know.
him before he smashed.
Hey, what do I have to do with that?
God damn it! You
Everybody
have no
should-
sleeves
He-
on.
maybe he was
Jesus
more
Christ.
aggressive. Big brother might have been taking his time and didn't realize what he had on his hands.
You know, I was laid back with it though.
This is one of the most interesting.
Oh shit! I'm fucking stories. ever.
Right.
Yeah. Might be in the old shit Hall of Fame right here.
I have stories.
No,
We
those
have to do a compilation of virginity stories.
We're gonna put that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put that out. We get one of the interns.
And we'll call it Unversion.
Unvirgin sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to UGA. We want
Yeah,
some
shout
money.
out to yeah.
Send us a check.
So since we all do podcasts, Kory just happens to tag along on certain ones. But for the most part, we all do podcasts. So like, what were some of the podcasts that actually got y'all into like wanting to, hop on or start the podcast?
The one that made me feel like I could do it
Yeah,
for Colored Nerds.
I was gonna ask what is that about, but it sounds.
Well, no. So,
Yeah.
so no, actually, it's not. So, for Colored Nerds, it's called For Colored Nerds: Conversations Black People Have when White People are not in the room. So, it's really like a
want me to
celebration of
leave?
our culture. What'd you say?
You want me to leave?
No, because
No, okay.
For Colored Nerds, is not a thing anymore. They rebranded under Gimlet as the Nod, which is still the same thing, but it doesn't have the same name.
No, okay.
But it was two best friends from Howard, Brittany and Eric, and they started a podcast as a way to spend time together. And it's now a thing. Eric was one of the co-producers for Gimlet and Loudspeakers on
Oh,
mobile.
this is a guy and a girl.
Uh-huh.
So they did a podcast where they could spend time. They were
They're best friends.
still sounds good.
He has a wife and a whole baby. He's not
Okay.
gay.
And that means so much.
Yeah.
Like, what does that,
doesn't mean
actually
anything these
Niggas
days.
definitely be gay with kids.
That
Yeah.
y'all are
He from Atlanta
disrespectful.
somewhere,
He's not from Atlanta.
So that's what made you decide,
Yeah, I felt at that point I felt like I could do it. In terms of my introduction to podcasts, it was Serial. That was the first one I listened to. That I was just
okay.
like, this shit is dope. And
Oh, yeah, that's
from
dope.
there I kind of progressed into like The Read and Code Switch, and they used to have one called Post Bougie. That was
That sounds like that's right up your alley.
From Serial to those. Serial's, that's a dope podcast. You know what I'm saying?
the first season was, yeah.
Oh.
The second season was not as good, but like the second season was about Bo, whatever his name is. That no, fuck you, Treezy. It's not Bokeem. I can't think of his last name, but he was the
Shout out to Bokeem
POW
Woodbine.
that like walked off a post
okay.
and then got like captured by the Taliban. And like the second episode of the second season of Serial like Sarah Koenig just like picked up the phone and called the Taliban, and I was like, "You're a bad bitch." It's like, "Oh, is this the Taliban? Oh, this is Sarah Koenig." I was like, "Oh,
This story is way too long.
yeah." Anyway,
It really
he
is.
asked me a question.
Okay.
No, that was my fault.
Yeah. So, Grunge, what joints that, got you into it?
I didn't really. It wasn't really a podcast that kind of got me into it. Like I always really wanted to do radio, but
Oh, really?
yeah, like I always wanted to like do this, like talking. Like that's just my shit. Like I was a disruptive kid in school. Like I
Right.
was that guy, and
You're smashing joints on the fence.
yeah, I was that guy too. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know we were. I thought he was the first timer today.
Nah.
Like he brought my story back
Yeah.
up.
That was a great story, by the way.
But
You smash on a chain link fence?
yeah, man.
Oh, that sounds
Painful.
tetanus shot.
I wasn't on the top of the fence. You know what I'm saying?
Does it matter?
Supported.
It was supported by the fence. Come on, you get good grip on the fence, man. Stop, Kory. You act like you ain't never changed. Oh, see, you from the picket fence era. You from the picket fence side of town.
Wow.
Like it's a little different. I understand. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But and no, it was really just radio. You know what I'm saying? Like I always wanted to do radio. I always wanted to, do that. And when the podcast thing came around, it just was like, oh, that's how I can get in. You know what I'm saying? Like not necessarily the radio, but
So your ultimate goal is to be on radio.
no. That's like that was like a hitting like back in like behind in the back of my head like the radio thing is dope, but
Right.
I'm not going to school. I'm not doing all the the steps that you got to take to actually do that. It's
Gotcha.
just something I thought I'd be good at.
Oh, okay, cool. What about you, Wade?
For me, it was just a natural extension of my website. Like I was telling you earlier, I have a blog I've been doing since 2005, uncutmagazine.net. And I had the idea to do a podcast.
I feel like I've heard that before.
2005, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
you probably heard of it. Had the idea to do a podcast like a year or two ago, but because I'm such an introvert,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to give that much of myself away to people. Because if you go to my site, it's like facts. It's like who did what, when, where, how. That's it. I don't
Yeah.
give my personal opinion. But with the podcast, you got to do that. But I felt like that's the only way I had to go. You can do something for so long, you have to do something else soon. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I
you
did
gotta
Uncut Magazine for so long, I was like, I got to do something new.
Right.
So it was either do the video vlog, and I was like, nah, too insecure about myself. So I can do a podcast and just let other people talk and not talk. But it kind of turned into me talking all the time.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you. What about you, Kory? I know you just ain't really wanna do
I'll be
it.
honest. I don't listen to podcasts. I
you
couldn't
never
tell.
listen to a podcast.
I don't listen to any.
He doesn't even listen to ours.
I don't. I'm like an actor. You don't want to watch your own movie. Like I spent 2 hours
I'm
talking
not
to
that
you.
type of actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to every show I do.
Well, I mean, I'm a participant, so I don't. I just talk to you for 2 hours. I don't want to listen to myself talk for another 2 hours. So, and then I'm not the chief like marketing person, and I'm not the host per se. So a lot of times I'm not listening. I don't want to listen to myself again to analyze what I said because I said it. Like I have been listening to one particular episode again, but I'll get to that later. But
Treezy is weak.
but I just don't. I participate. I love talking. I enjoy joking around, and I do that and I leave.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I did get into the kind of movie critics podcast because me and Treezy and the rest of the Viz Inc. crew, we would all sit around and talk about movies and talk about films and video related things, and it would take up massive amounts of time. Like, I mean, every Monday morning used to be like 2 hours talking about Breaking Bad. So, which you don't like.
Which is
You're
overrated.
You're real whack for that.
It's,
Yeah, it's like super.
it's overrated, but
Wait a minute, you're
that's
saying
neither.
it's super
Well, he's
overrated.
super whack.
Yeah, he's super whack. We'll get to
Well,
that.
fuck all
We'll get
y'all.
to that later. But so
overrated.
Treezy one day was like, "Why don't we record these conversations?" And I instantly was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea." I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, okay.
But you didn't know it was gonna be a podcast. Or
No, he said, "Let's make a podcast," and I was
okay.
like, "Okay." And then I had to be told what a podcast was.
That's what I'm about to say. Okay, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, so you're just gonna record our conversation?" I was like, "That sounds great."
So, Grunge, I felt like you told me before, like, either Drink Champs or, like, Tax Stone Joint kind of got you in there.
Well, once I got the idea to do a podcast, I started trying because initially I was doing like he said, like Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yo, I can't get this all off on the book. Like I get tired of typing these arguments out all day. So
No, you don't.
I don't, but I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't get tired of doing them, but I get tired of people can't necessarily understand when you're joking, when you're serious. So it get a little hectic, and then I'll come to my phone and realize like somebody say I'll kill you. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's not even really what I didn't even.
Just talking about the Fresh Prince. That's it.
Yeah, like okay, cool. I think I need to take this. Like maybe they need to hear me and maybe even see. So that's how I turned it into wanting to do. Drink Champs is what made me decide I wanted to put the camera in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Do you really like Drink Champs?
I did. I still love Drink Champs, but it's gotten a little different since it's been on Revolt. They don't come out as often. It's just. It's different. Like, you know what I'm saying?
See, what's funny is when I decided to do the podcast, I listened to Joe Budden podcast.
Okay, I listened
that
to
was
him.
like, we can do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how my podcast is.
Yeah, definitely.
The Joe Budden joint is like my favorite shit right now.
You like Everyday Struggle, or you like the podcast?
I like the podcast better.
The podcast is better.
Yeah.
So like when y'all first started out, like what were some of the matter of fact, this is gonna be like a real I ain't gonna say that. But yeah, I'm gonna cut that part out. But
yeah, no shit.
No, I'm not drunk. I'm definitely not drunk. But like what were some of the things that were like hard for y'all starting out? Because I know for me, like finding that first flow to how the joint's supposed to go was like supremely hard, especially since I'm an introvert. Like it was hard talking to niggas like for an hour about stuff that I felt like should be important, but then once you're in the conversation, you realize this shit is whack. This shit is very yeah.
That's one reason why I don't do interviews, because people don't answer the questions in the way you want them to answer. Like I said, I've been blogging for almost 10 years, and I've done a couple interviews, but it's like, when I ask you a question, just answer the question. Don't give me that rapper shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Shit here. Nah, nigga, answer the question.
You're right.
So that's why my podcast is based upon just us talking. If you want to participate in the conversation, then participate. But if not, then just listen to us talk.
You did interview Cakes though.
I interviewed a couple people, but yeah, Cakes is like
Cakes joint was trash.
Cakes is Cakes.
Yeah,
you know,
that's Cakes is trash.
She's something like that.
She's on here, fam.
Yeah, she's.
You gonna get run up on talking like that? Cut that out.
I talk about her all the time like that. She knows it. And we talk about it all the time. It's a joke. It's a joke.
So like with y'all, like what were some of the problems y'all ran into when first couple episodes?
Actually, with Kind of Movie Critics, I wasn't on the first couple episodes. I joined them episode 3 because we did Star Wars, and for that one, it was just me, Kory, and Treezy. That was like a really natural conversation. That one was easy. It was like after that, trying to find more topics to talk about.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. And then especially with what we do, like we really have to be inspired by something to have a good conversation. And the times that we've tried to force it, like it sucked. We've shelved like at least 2 episodes because we were just like, this feels forced. Let's not put this out.
Yeah.
And then like there have been times where we've gone to see movies expecting it to be something that we could really sit down and unpack from a social perspective or even from like an existential perspective. We went to see what was that, Life? And we were just like, yeah, we're not fucking podcasting.
That movie was terrible.
Yeah.
God,
it wasn't even that it was terrible. I've seen it before. You know what I mean?
Talk about Eddie Murphy and Martin.
No, nigga. Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. So it was a sci-fi movie.
It's the sleeves, man.
That didn't have too much of a chance anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, it was Alien. It was Alien. It was the same movie, but it was Alien and Jurassic Park at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
How can it be Alien and Jurassic Park?
Because it explored like it did have like some existential themes, like just because you find life doesn't mean that you need to try to create life. Like that's not your place as a human being to do that. Okay. Well, and it goes awry. So just like in Jurassic Park. But it's in space and it's an alien and it's trying to kill them. So anyway. But I said that to say this, like if you notice with Kind of Movie Critics, we're not on like a schedule like you are. Like you're out every week on Monday. You get a KMC episode when we give you one. But like we want to give you something really good. So if you can wait on it, it'll be great. But we wait until we're inspired to do something, and we found like that works a lot better than us trying to force content.
So do y'all feel like being consistent is a major thing when it comes to a podcast?
I think it depends on your content, because what ends up happening with us a lot of times is we get residual views. So if we put out one thing that somebody's really interested in, they go back and listen to the other stuff because even though it's point in time information, they may really be interested in what we have to say about a particular thing. I'd say like after we put out after we put out the Pain and Scare episode on Insecure, like my girls trip episode went through the roof. So, I mean, it's just that's how that works. So I'm not really concerned about it coming out in a consistent time. I care about the quality being consistent.
True. But
I do care because I think a lot of people, especially with my podcast, they kind of just happen upon it on like Instagram or Facebook. They see it, they click on it. So I kind of be consistent, you know, because some people just, they won't subscribe. They'll just say, oh, this is new. Let me click on this and listen. And then they'll never listen again. But if I always have the content like we do it every Monday at noon, like consistently every Monday at noon.
So I guess it depends on what you're talking about. But with my podcast, what I find is that people want to hear what we have to say about a specific thing. So like, they're like, oh, this movie's coming out. What are they going to say about it? Like, so we're in the future, after jobs, we're planning to do like Stranger Things. I have people who are like, oh shit, I want to hear what y'all have to say. But if we're just putting something out to put it out, like they don't give a fuck.
Well, see, that's the difference because your content is there. Like us, if we talk about something like Lil B situation, we talked about it happened Saturday. We talked about it Monday, but if we dropped it today, wouldn't nobody care about it?
Nobody would care, yeah.
You know, so we picked Monday because it's kind of before every other podcast drops, and then like
except for
every
the Society X podcast.
Right.
and like Everyday Struggle and all this, so we kind of drop before them. So you get our opinion, then you can talk to other people and
You
then
get
kind
the
of
opinion first.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's a good strategy.
So, Grunge, do you feel like you have to be like consistent in this game to really make a difference?
I try to be, man, but I'm a little lazy, man. I haven't done an episode in maybe like 2-3 weeks, but
And you put out an episode like last week?
You put Boogie out last week.
But I have like probably like 4 or 5 that I haven't put out yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was actually gonna do Boogie was gonna come out for Halloween. You know what I'm saying? But
I wish you would have. Shit.
no, I had to jump the gun because I knew Blazing them had.
Oh, so you did that on purpose?
No, but I hit Blazing up. I told him, I said,
Oh,
look,
okay, good.
I gotta have you, man. I can't let you. I said we can wait we can do it the same day. We'll do it the same
I'm not
day.
mad at that.
You know, I was like, but
You be Boogie out. Boogie.
yeah, I couldn't. I knew. I said I hit Boogie. I said, yo, you're gonna look like a star next week, the end of the week, like, cause you're gonna be all over the place. But I try and do them weekly. Sometimes it's overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I gotta coordinate everything. Cause I do it all. Like, you know what I'm saying? With the exception of man the camera. You know what I'm saying? But
Shout out to Perks.
Yeah, shout out to Perks. You know what I'm saying? So I sometimes it can get to be much, man. And I don't interview just anybody. Like, it's because
You mostly had like VA legends on your
yeah,
job.
like if I interview you, there has to be a story. Like I have to be able to you have to really be able to, you're going to talk about some things that I can snatch little clips of and everybody be like, oh, that's crazy.
Right.
Not just a local rapper that's just been, you know, he just out here trying to make it.
Got 3 songs on SoundCloud.
Yeah, nah. You gotta have some stories, like, you know what I'm saying? And I've been blessed to have been around long enough to where I can like talk to people that have, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Had some achievement.
yeah, you know, and plus Shaggy made me like, because he was the first one. So when I did him, it kind of was like, oh shit, Grunge talk.
Got a
Shaggy,
joint,
like,
yeah.
I can do so. You know what I'm saying? But
But-
try.
But you did say something that kind of like got me like thinking about another question. What do y'all think about, or both of y'all actually said something. What do y'all think about competing with other podcasts in the area? Because like with me, I'm super competitive, but
Yeah.
I'm always the person that's like want to big up other people, or, you know, share other people's stuff. But in my heart of hearts,
Right.
I want to kill all y'all niggas.
No, I'm with you. I think,
But what's the point? Sorry to cut you up. What's the point though? Because all the content is different.
and that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
For-
right.
if-
I just want to have the best
If it was
one.
the same, if it was,
I still want to have the best one.
it's not the same. like,
So keeping it a buck, even if it is the same, it's still not the same because
but I mean, if
you're
it's-
not competing for airtime.
no.
So it's room for everybody.
No,
Yeah.
it's agreed. It's
Yeah,
not
there's room for everybody, but I still want to be the best one.
That's like saying there's room for you to like 5 rappers, but there's still that I want to be your favorite rapper thing.
I got
like,
you.
so
I
it's like,
Yeah.
got you.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
look at it differently. I think because we're now all set up in a time frame, you can listen to my podcast and your podcast
True.
and your podcast. It's no competition. Like I show love. I post other podcasts all the time. I
But
don't-
Right, same
competition doesn't mean you can't still have a fan base.
But
Like,
I think
have a
the
fan
good
base.
thing with the friendly competition is it motivates you to get better. Like I
Right,
like
right,
that kind of
right.
competition as opposed to being like
Being a hater and like, you know what?
Right.
Yeah.
Which
that
I-
ain't my thing.
I won't say any names, but people are like, oh, people want to be like us. And I'm like, you don't sit your ass down with your 50 views. But me personally, like when people they're like, is Grunge put on there? I'm like, he's extended family. Like we support each other. But I want to see everybody win, whether they jump on board or not. Like that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, me too. I want to see everybody win, but I just want to win
definitely.
a little bit more.
Like
That's really petty.
like with the
It's super petty.
I'm a little petty.
like I even like with the Live from the 7-5, like we kind of do the same thing, but we don't because they kind of
they have a different demographic than you.
Yeah, totally different. You know what I'm saying? So but the Boogie thing was like, all right, he can't say so much. Like I know this. You know what I'm saying?
He talked a lot though.
Yeah, but the story gonna be the same. He's gonna tell you the same story. He might give you one or two more stories, or flip it. But but I looked at it like, yo, it's like when they make a promo run and you go do Breakfast Club and you do Hot 97.
You wouldn't have had a better interview.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not even that. Like, because it ain't really about. It's just about. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's about having the better interview. Like.
But one could argue too that like even though we're still doing some relatively local stuff, like if you get to the point where you're doing famous people every week, then I could see where competition comes into play.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're getting the better guests, the better host. Like nobody knows who I am. When like
maybe that's just me because I play sports all my life, so I'm just competitive, but I'm also like supporting everybody though.
Yeah.
Like me and Blazing used to be on like the chat. Like every week, like, I like what you did right there. You should do X, Y, and Z. That's why I feel like.
Shout out to Blazing and the Live from the 7-5 podcast.
Shout out to him.
Because we just talking about him and not saying who.
Yeah. But I'm like that person where I'm gonna still lift you up, but I'll be a bald head liar if I said that I didn't want to be
a sleeveless liar, if you will.
Sleeveless liar.
Bald headed and sleeveless.
Nah, I just do me. I just put my numbers up. It's like what the old saying, the horse on the board. With the horse with the blinders.
Oh
I just run my race. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't. Everybody else do what they do. If we can work together, we can. We can't. Just keep going.
Have y'all faced like people like saying that they like competing with y'all though, or like anybody said anything?
No. I haven't ran into that.
No.
What I find too, like in this day and age, is smart people know the power of cross promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I can get your audience's attention and you can get my audience attention, especially if it's not the same audience.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the podcast audience is totally different. So if people are in the podcast,
they're gonna listen to multiple podcasts.
Yeah, like
exactly.
They might not listen to you today, but if you have good content, they'll check you out. It's not like you watch Breakfast Club, but you won't watch Hot 97 or you won't watch Everyday Struggle or so.
I think we're in the content age right now where you can pretty much just watch everything.
Yeah.
As long as it's good.
It's because it's on demand. So,
right.
And, in the past, with radio and TV, when it was a live product, you were in competition and I remember when they used to do like locals only or whatever, and then
the Shaggy joint.
Shaggy had locals only, and then DJ B had something where he had local people too, and they would be on at the same time. And they did that on purpose because if you want to be playing local people, switch to other station. But
Jack had
not DJ B.
Jack B did have a show though. He did a little interview joint. You know what I'm saying? I got one of those interviews and shit, but.
but they would put. Well, to me, it's a better strategy to put them on at the same time. But
of course.
But they're
competing. If you're competing.
Yeah, well, because you don't want nobody to switch the station on you. And if you both playing local people, you're not going to turn away to listen to Drake. So I hear it, why that's a good idea. But during that age of things not being on demand the way that they are now, you really had to take the time to be there and be present and get ahead of the next man. But you don't really got to do that now.
Oh, okay.
I have a question for the group. How would you combat that maybe they're only checking into you for a niche reason? Like
as far as what?
Like you mentioned Girls Trip. Like they may have only been into Girls Trip. They're not into Blade Runner, not into the other various things that we've talked about. Someone may be only interested in Shaggy.
Well, that happens.
And like, how do you deal with that?
Well, which is why I try to, especially more so now, I'm trying to limit the amount of interviews because you find yourself to a point where
people only come to you for the
interview. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And my show is about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of try to set it up to more about like roundtable debates. That way, they know they're gonna get good conversation about. It's gonna be music based. You know, if you're into hip hop, you want to talk hip hop all day. You know, you're coming over to Grunge, and they're gonna be talking about how whack Old Dirty is, or
Oh wow.
For example.
you know
We'll
what I'm
chat
saying, or you know what I'm saying. You know, you're gonna get good hip hop dialogue because if you chase the interview, man, you know, you gonna eventually you're gonna run out of interviews unless you start. You know,
That's
getting the
very
big
true.
name guys, like you said.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
'Cause I think when I first started, I was trying to get interviews.
Yeah.
And then I was like, these people are only checking in for these interviews. And I didn't like the conversation. Like, the conversation was real whack and trash. So that's why I kind of switched it up to having.
Not all of them.
Yeah,
Not all
mine
of
was
them.
mine
Not all
was
of them.
legendary.
I got so
He was
drunk
a-
recording that.
Yeah,
I was
I mean,
off camera, drunk as a bitch.
Really?
Oh,
Yes.
glad to see I'm not the only one here.
I wasn't on the mic though.
Oh, yeah, yours is bad. But yeah, so then I kind of switched it to having these type of group conversations that's based more on topic. And so somebody that doesn't have a name can come in and really be a spark off the bench and have, say something, that everybody likes. And then you can just rotate people in and out.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really what I do because conversation, like I said, people can listen to it and be a part of the conversation. You know, we get emails people all the time. Was like, yeah, I know exactly what you were saying, or I disagree with you. You were stupid, or whatever. It happens all the time, and I just think that's for me, for my podcast and my personality in general, just
Right.
the best way to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I interview podcasts, like I said earlier. I just hate doing interviews. Just hate doing interviews.
Speaking of the hatred, how do you deal with the hatred?
What kind of hatred?
I don't know. Someone saying mention someone wish you would die.
Oh, well, that's not based off of the podcast.
This is just you being an asshole?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people hate, like, my opinions.
People just want you to die.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be a little blunt, but it's
We know.
yeah, it's not as,
Yeah.
like, when you read it, it's like, it's just crazy. Like, I haven't got any actual podcast hatred. Like, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I've gotten, like, people that might have, like you said, a Facebook thread might get, like, 200 people commenting
A little
on
intense. Yeah.
and the episode might come out and it might take 2 weeks to get 200.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's like, yo, like, y'all, I don't know.
I've gotten negative comments about certain things, but to me, it's like stupid things. Like, for example, I don't hide the fact that I'm Muslim. And I talk about that on the show certain times. Like, we done a podcast for a year. I had Ramadan. I had to go through doing the podcast. So I had to
Oh, wow.
like change my approach to the podcast. And I would tell people, hey, I can't do this because it's Ramadan.
Yeah, I would
And-
imagine that.
And
yeah.
I've gotten people that, 'cause especially the era we live in today, people don't like Muslims. And then I've gotten emails about that. But it's whatever. You know
You
what
got
I mean?
emails about,
Yeah, people don't. Yeah, I was listening to your podcast, but I found you was a Muslim, so I can't, like, stupid stuff like that.
Oh
like,
wow.
Like,
That's crazy.
like word, okay. Like, it's stupid stuff like that where it don't want to affect me personally.
and they
Like,
took the
word.
time to tell you.
Yeah.
Send a formal email.
Yeah, I've getting a lot of emails. Like, I read them sometimes on the show, or I let Ari read them on the show. But then sometimes I delete them. Like, yeah, you don't want to read this. You don't want to read this.
That's nuts.
That is
We
wild.
had a wild email one time.
Why'd you look at me?
You know why I'm looking at shit. We did a series on Spike Lee back in February for Black History Month. And Treezy, being the marketing genius that he is, he tagged Spike on his post on his Instagram page, and like Spike emailed us. And then Treezy had a conversation with Spike, and Spike was pretty much like, fuck Kory. He didn't use those words, but
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of like a badge of
Oh,
honor
man,
for
Spike can't
Spike
let you-
Lee.
I mean,
like vicariously. Nah, he wasn't. I mean, he bigged me up. He was like, the sister was on point, but the white guy.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's a movie critics podcast, and I critiqued your films. You know, and
But you could really have that like on when you die, like your tombstone.
yeah.
Like
I mean, I
Spike
didn't
Lee
say the
said,
guy
"Fuck."
was trash. I just
He didn't
have an
actually say
opinion.
fuck.
I have an opinion, and it's very unpopular for a white guy to criticize Spike Lee for some strange reason. And
Well,
no,
I don't
That's
know
not
about
fucking
that.
strange.
I know I had a sarcasm for the group. Jesus, God, before I get another email. So I criticized Spike Lee, and I had my reasons. I backed up my reasoning, but it just wasn't a popular idea.
I mean,
Okay.
it don't matter. Like, I shout out to you for making him feel so moved enough to fucking email us.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad. Like, Kory said whatever he says, Spike emailed us. The universe works together for our good.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
So what has been like some of y'all most favorite podcasts to do since y'all been on? To give a reason to people to go and check those joints out.
I would say, before I mean,
No, you good. You got it.
we had an episode back in February, and I don't even remember the name of the episode, but it was like our highest listened episode because for some reason my co-hosts during the episode every 5 minutes or so they kept saying "fuck the beehive."
Oh wow!
So people would listen to it, and that's
Did you
what got a lot
title
of.
the title of the episode?
No, I
Fuck the
didn't.
Beehive?
I
You
did. I
should've.
You
should
should've did
have.
it.
I should
You
have.
still
But people
can.
would listen to it, and
That's something I would have did.
yeah, I thought about it. I wasn't with it. I was like, hey, Beyonce cool with me. You know, but they was through the entire, and it's kind of a running gag through our podcast now. Whenever something happens, they'll just say it out of the blue, "Fuck the beehive."
Well, Beehive, we don't want those problems.
Yeah,
Okay?
'cause we was like, that episode was like ranked number 4 on iTunes, so it moved.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Just for saying "fuck the Beehive."
just I guess hey, the beehive is a lot
Nah,
of.
they
beehive.
real folks out there.
Yeah,
I might say
deep.
fuck the beehive.
They deep.
I might have to borrow that. Like,
Love the Crips
shit.
ain't got shit on the Beehive.
So, like, what were some of y'all more popping joints?
I'd say like our most popular episode was Get Out, and that was a really special experience because we actually do produce our show. Like we don't just sit down and talk.
Right.
And that was the occasion where we did not do that. We were like, we're gonna go see this movie because we knew it was gonna be something special. We all went together. I sat between Jesse and Kory, and we watched it together and immediately came and recorded the podcast. And it's like people really responded to it.
That's the one that Angela Yee kind of like.
Yeah, Angela Yee gave us a shout out on that one, and we just really unpacked the movie and the symbolism. And a lot of people were like, "Yo, like y'all watch movies on a whole other level. I never thought about. Let me see what else you have to say."
That's when y'all became deep for me. That shit was way too deep. But yeah, go ahead.
It's a deep movie.
Yeah.
I think like my best podcast episodes aren't even the ones that are like the most checked out, like because they kind of like the round table ones to me are the best. Like you know what I'm saying?
I feel you. On
Like
that.
those are like when it's like we did a Prodigy episode when he passed, and I thought that was a dope one. It did. I mean, it did great numbers, but it didn't do like
What you thought it was gonna do?
Well, I really didn't have any because it was only like I think that was the second episode I put out, so it was still early. But that was one of my favorite episodes. Between that one and I just did one a couple weeks ago with Josephine, Dirty Die, and
Stuff Love.
Stuff Love. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Stuff.
And that was one of my best episodes. It was me, 3 ladies. They were at me heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you don't really have women on your joint.
Nah, I don't. And that was so I brought 3 ladies on, and then I caught flack for bringing on 3 ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, word.
Yeah, like Jade was on me. She was on me bad. Like you know, but it was a dope episode. Like
Yeah.
but
You had some great minds in the room.
nobody cared. I was like
I didn't know you did it. I just be liking your shit. I'd be like, I'm gonna listen to it, but I just like.
Yeah. No, but people like when I say nobody cared, I mean like it was one of those like, which is why I say the interviews and star power shit is like I really don't want it to be about that. I really want it to be about the conversation because certain shit get missed when people are looking for
a big name to be up there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like no, that was the episode was about ladies in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I chose ladies to talk to about it.
It sounds like a TV show on WeTV.
It might be.
It might be.
It
Yeah.
might be. But yeah, man. So like I like as long dialogue. I mean, I make sure that all of my interviews they're not really interviews. Like we
You just haven't.
yeah
talked
we
about
chop
it.
it up. Like
Yeah.
I'll bring up certain shit that I know that I want you to expound upon. But for the most part, we just talk. You know what I'm saying? But those round tables is because you can really get some good debate. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. What's been your favorite joint?
I mean, we're on what episode 24,
22.
22.
Oh, somebody, I got a lot.
Yeah.
How many episodes you got?
53.
Technically, we have more than 24 because we
Yeah.
had 3 in the Spike series, and then we have the 2 Pain and Scan. So, but in terms of real episodes,
I don't really have it because like literally me and Treezy and the crew, we've been doing this for years. Like I treat the format as literally the same thing as what we've always done.
Right.
So I don't necessarily have a favorite one. Just I mean I've enjoyed the conversations that I've had with my friends and colleagues.
So you just look at it as just another conversation.
It's another conversation. So there are episodes that stand out. The Get Out one was pretty good. Spike Lee one's pretty good too. But I don't think I have a favorite experience because they're all conversations that I'm enjoying with my friends.
Right. I think my favorite one of the Society X podcast is probably, matter of fact, there's two that really stood out that was like, they were like well reviewed or like people like fucked with it. Plus, it was a good time while we was here. Matter of fact, it was one with us three was in here.
Oh, It's Complicated episode.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was
fun to
fun.
record.
That was fun.
The first relationship panel we did for Society.
Yeah, that was fun. Yours are always usually pretty fun.
Yeah, I know because I'm here.
It usually has nothing to do with you. So.
But yeah, that was a good one. I felt like that was a great conversation. Like I felt like everybody was engaged to what we was talking about, and I felt like the public like really fucked with it. And then I felt like the one that had like my, I think we called it like barbershop talk or something like that, where we was in here for like 2.5 hours drinking. Treezy hopped on the mic, pause, and we were just really just having good talks that went from what we talk about? We talked about sports.
Your favorite titties. Your favorite
TV titties. We talked about TV titties, which was a great topic.
Nice.
And then it got like real deep at the end. Like we start talking about like stuff is like being a man.
Toxic masculinity and
we talked about that?
y'all talked about pressures of masculinity.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I never used the word toxic.
Yeah,
masculinity.
that's
threw me
her.
off.
She threw her little
Yeah,
touch.
definitely.
I'm doing my what word?
Yeah. But yeah, I felt like that was just an overall great conversation that I felt like a lot of people forward. That might be my highest rated podcast so far. So I said all that to say nothing. So yeah.
So you enjoy yourself. That's what you basically said.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
a lover of him.
Yeah, I'm a great person. I'm a narcissist, so it kind of works. So where do y'all see the podcast industry going like in the next couple of years, since it seemed like it's a wave now for everybody to just start a podcast?
Yeah, I said that when I started the podcast. I think in the next few years it's going to be like mixtapes. Everybody going to have a podcast.
Oh, shit,
I mean, we're already there.
You know what I'm saying?
Millions of podcasts.
You
But
know,
I think podcasts are no different from the music industry in that if you make something dope, people will care.
definitely.
And so it can become saturated all at once too. That doesn't affect my ability to make something good. So
Right.
if you can get eyes on what you're doing, I don't care. Everybody can have a podcast. It's fine.
That's the hard part, just getting it. I mean, y'all got a lot of episodes. Like I got 12 episodes out, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm like at 30 something.
Yeah.
I don't know because you don't number them,
Yeah.
which is such a pain in the ass when I have to do the file naming convention for your media. But anyway.
Oh, you'll be
That was
all
a
right.
suggestion. Guess you didn't catch that.
No, I'm cool. I'll pass.
No, I just number mine. We started out with the concept because I'm comic books too. So start out like numbering like issues, like comic book issues.
Oh,
each episode was
you're
an
using
issue.
nerd words. I like it.
Yeah, so I had
got a little
episode
wet?
00 and everything. So
Wow.
yeah,
I'm fucking throw my shoe at you, you fucking weirdo.
All right, so did y'all answer the last question?
Yes, we did.
just yeah.
You drunk? Doing all right over there, bro?
I'm not drunk at all, but I'm just
I don't believe you.
I'm completely sober. I'm not Corey.
You're not completely sober, though.
You're not completely sober.
No, not at
I
all.
really am. I seriously am. But that's neither here nor there. So, like, was there any podcasts that y'all thought were gonna do like huge numbers and was like nobody checked it out? 'Cause I think mine was. Shout out to my man Lyndon. I thought his joint was gonna be like, yo, everybody checking it out, and it didn't really do as good. Lyndon Trail from the Redskins.
I never really look at it that way because it's so hard to like know what people are gonna really be into, like, because unless you got like a big name person, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you're banking on them really having a following, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
for the most part, man, it's for me, I just try and find little pieces of heaven inside of the interview that
Pieces
might,
of heaven, though.
yeah, little pieces, just small pieces of, oh, that's great right there. You know what I'm saying?
Little nuggets of heaven.
Yeah, that might catch people's attention. Like, oh, I'm gonna check that out. Even if you don't check it out when it comes out, but you know that it's there. I want to go back to that. But it's hard, man, to really. And again, like I'm only 12 episodes in, so I don't really even be looking at the numbers like that. Like it's crazy. Cause I kill myself anyway because I go visual and audio. So like, my SoundCloud takes a major hit because I put
the
video out. You know what I'm saying? So
Do you have problems with scheduling? That's my main problem. having to schedule the time, and on Kind of Movies we got 5 people, so like
It's kind of hard for audio for all of y'all
and
to be
then
in
you
the same room.
this is guest too for you're consistent, right, every Monday, and you're saying for you, like how do you make sure that your guests are always like, what if we all cancel today, like what would you do?
That actually
Like,
happened
that's
for a
happened.
podcast I
Like-
produce. That happened this week. The person called like an hour before and was like, "I can't do it.
That
I just
happened
don't
to
have
me
an
on,
episode this week."
What did I put a J. Clyde episode I did. That was supposed to be it was supposed to be a producer roundtable. It was supposed to be J. Clyde and 2 other guys. And both of them canceled like
En route.
yeah, like I'm loading the car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hit Clyde, and we had already talked about me and him doing a sit down with him anyway. And I hit him, and he was like, "Look," and that was actually, it was crazy because it worked out for the better because like Clyde really got a following, you know what I'm saying? So like that one did more than I expected. I was like, "Damn, Clyde got." So let me get some more white people on my show.
Hey man,
Yeah, I did one a couple weeks ago with
call me.
Yeah, I did one a couple weeks ago with Huey from The Perfect Play. It was supposed to be like 3 or 4 people who had blogs. It was supposed to be a whole blog episode, and then everybody just slowly like backed out, and then it was just me and him, which ended up turning to be a pretty solid episode. So I feel like you just got to keep on moving. The only other thing though is that I realized that
You didn't put on lotion today on those arms.
no, I'm still pretty much moisturized out here.
Okay, cool. Just make sure.
I should forgot what the fuck I was about to say.
Yeah, that was my goal.
So the only thing you realized is that
I said that and I didn't know what I was about to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I realized through producing though, like with one of your early episodes, that just because somebody has a following doesn't mean that people, especially on Instagram, that people want to hear their thoughts.
Yeah.
You had someone on early on who has a really big Instagram following, and they posted it and it didn't really translate into views, and I'm like, people are watching this nigga because they think he cute. Like, that's really it. And I'm like, I would think, and he had an interesting story, but I just was like, I would think that if you're paying attention to him, that you might care about his thoughts, but
They didn't want to hear him
enough,
speak.
it didn't translate.
Oh, I knew what I was about to say. I was about to say that I felt like I started to get out of the mode of trying to like hit up people and them feeling like they're doing me a favor for being on my podcast. Like, because with those type of people, like they feel like I'm just doing it because, I'm doing a favor for this man.
Right.
They don't understand it as a marketing tool for them.
Right. So those people, they don't want to promote it or anything like that. So,
Well, that's just really this area. Like I find,
I think,
Yeah, that could be universal.
I think that's universal.
I don't know, people I've talked to, I haven't had a lot of guests, but the people I've talked to that's really in the industry, they understand. Like I had Batman come on the show.
Shout out Batman.
He really understood the whole process. Like, yeah, I'm a market and do this and do this. But when I talk to people that are not in the area, they're like, first thing, what's your numbers? And they're interested to see how it's going to affect their fan base.
Right.
Like people here that hit me up, hey, I want to be on the show. Oh, I just want to be on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like they just want to hear their voice on the phone,
Right.
on whatever.
Well, the thing is, like, what I try to do, especially with like the podcast that we produce, Bio, and with Live from the 752, is I talk to the guests to let them know, like, because it's on demand content. Even
You don't talk to
after
my guests though.
well, that's because you do panels, and we don't necessarily focus on their background anymore.
Yeah.
But when we did,
Y'all doing background checks?
no.
Oh,
But-
gosh almighty.
but- when we do the in-depth interviews and we really talk about them and give them a chance to brand themselves, is that I tell them this is your opportunity with this piece of content to brand yourself that you can continue to use in perpetuity to market yourself. So even though
What does
next week,
perpetuity mean?
perpetual. That's
And-
not an SAT word.
Just keeps going.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, man.
Jesus.
If you don't know, you gotta ask, bro.
Don't send your kids to school in Portsmouth. So
Fuck you. Fuck you.
just
Slow
saying.
burn.
Wow. But that's what I tell them. I say, hey, this is your opportunity to brand yourself, say the things, hit the things that you want to hit to get out about yourself on this forum, and then it's a platform for you to continue to market yourself. And then when I've had that conversation with people and people who actually are trying to market themselves, that's what they do. And just because we move on to the next thing, they're still pushing it because they're like, you want to know about me?
Yeah,
Check out this podcast.
Yeah, that does happen a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed, like, even with this one, Cortland Mariner, he did that. Like, even after we had moved on, he was still marketing himself.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. It's a couple people that have done that and really
Yeah.
has added more numbers to the podcast.
But it worked for them too.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing when people think that they're doing you a favor that they don't get. Like, this is free marketing for you. Not saying that not saying that it's not a symbiotic relationship. Not saying that there's nothing in it for me. Obviously, there's something in it for me, but it doesn't have to just be something for me.
Right.
Oh, I've had artists charge me rates. They
To
said,
come on your podcast?
This is my rate for an interview. Like,
wow.
oh, word? Oh, never mind.
Oh wow.
I had a
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've never seen that either.
Yeah.
They don't understand like a media run?
this is my. They won't do anything, but I had a relationship with someone that had a relationship with them, so I reached out. It's like, hey,
They
come
just
on my
didn't
show.
want to be bothered.
Like, oh,
and that's that. Sometimes that's the hard part. Like because like everybody that I pretty much deal with and interview, I have a relationship with, right? So that causes sometimes the conflict because I've had a guy that was supposed to be one of my early interviews, right? And we had actually set it up. I literally and this is in the beginning, so I'm unorganized, so it might take me an hour to make sure I have everything, and then I'll still get there and won't have everything, right? So
Note to self: don't do your podcast.
So listen, I packs up everything. I get there. They're not there. I'm waiting. I'm calling. They're around the corner. You think it's a drug deal because it's I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm right around the corner. 40 minutes go by for them to get there, and then something came up to where they can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm cool. So I back away from that interview. Nah, I'm cool on that because that's gonna be. And this is a relationship I had with somebody. So it's this gonna cause a problem if this happens.
You felt
again.
disrespected, yeah.
So I let it go. And then fast forward 7-8 episodes later, they're ready to they're calling me about doing it. When we gonna do it? So I'm like, yo, we can do it. What you wanna do? So we set up a time and place again. They call me the next morning to make sure everything. I come to the actual place because we're gonna do a little. It's kind of gonna be like a little promotion because they got a couple things going on. So I get there, I set up. I'm waiting. Perks is finished setting up the cameras. I'm looking at my phone I text them. It's supposed to be at 9:00. I don't get the text back. So I call and get the answer. No pickup. Then I get the my bad fam text. Family emergency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Something
And I'm
just
like,
happened to
come
pop
on,
up.
man. I know your family, dog. You can't do that to me. You got to tell me your wife fell down the steps. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell me something because I know everybody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I start taking little stuff like that. I could take personal. You know what I'm saying?
Because they wasted your time, and ultimately
yeah.
that's disrespectful.
And
You
it's a
organize
relationship.
resources, yeah.
And then you pop up on another podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now you
Then
gotta,
that's disrespect.
That's
Yeah.
disrespectful.
so now you got to get the phone call that says, you know what I mean? When we bump into each other, you know what I'm saying?
It's okay. The
Yeah,
table.
keep
The
hitting
table.
the
Oh, my fault. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We only got
fine.
one. We don't got a budget for a new
We
one.
don't got a budget for a new table.
It gets like that because it's like, yo, you did that? You know what I'm saying? My backyard of yours, man. You know what I'm saying? And that offer, that's still y'all might hear about this one day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that type.
You want to go
shit.
into it right now?
Nah.
Because he's like, I'm
You know
going
what
to see
saying?
you.
But yeah,
yeah, that was swimey. Yeah.
Yeah, you did that.
Completely understand.
With that, I'm cool. But with me, I'm cool as I live in Suffolk. So as long as I ain't got to drive over here, if you tell me at 4, yo, I can't make it.
Yeah.
I'm cool. But if I drive over here,
Yeah. No, that's
Something
crazy.
gotta happen, yeah.
And that was my whole thing. It wasn't that. I understand.
I feel like we doing a
everybody
lot of bitching
that
right
I
now,
might
too.
have a relationship with might not want to do my podcast because we're gonna go back and forth. You're not gonna just if certain conversations come up, I'm not gonna let you just tap dance around them. You know what I'm saying?
So, matter of fact, that was going to be my next question. Do you feel like that happens a lot where people are scared to talk? Or something I ran into is that people aren't afraid to talk while they're here, but they don't want other people outside of this to know about it. So, as far as promoting it.
Oh, yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
You know what? At least 3 times on one of our podcasts, I won't say which one because it'll give away. But I've had to cut out niggas saying that they're married.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Someone will ask them directly if they're married, and they'll answer the question yes, and then they'll be like, "Yo, so
Oh,
you should
that's
take
shit.
that out."
That's crazy.
And they have who they tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's deep.
Not on y'all podcast.
Well, obviously not ours.
No. But I'm saying, yeah. I was saying
I'm
like,
like Treezy out here hiding.
like I would,
Treezy done
like
said
I
he's
would,
married like 1,000 times.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you. Like if I would tell Treezy, like, look, man, you know, I like
Right,
I don't know
I
how
got you,
to
I
look
got
at
you.
and tell you that I don't tell the people that I'm married.
That's because they know they can't smash, and I already know they're married.
No, not even that. I'm not even talking about for you per se.
You
Like,
say
but I'm
'cause I'm a
saying,
woman?
yeah, like that's hard. Like that's hard.
That's kind of rough.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, I know what time it is, but
That's still hard.
It-
man.
it's just-
Shout
what
out
it
to
is.
y'all, man. Y'all got
interesting.
Yeah.
It's
cojones.
interesting. It
Gosh
was
almighty.
like a social experiment, and they're like, "Yo, did you get it? You got it out?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yes, I got you. I think you're a slime ball for that, but yes, I took it."
I've
out.
done episodes with people where they get a little like, you know, a conversation will come up and they'll get free. They might say some things they ain't really mean to say. And I don't really do any editing. Like I'm like, man. and
Yeah,
I'll get the
same
phone
here,
call,
It's
yeah.
a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's
We
like,
do a
I'm
little
like, you ain't
editing,
want
but
to
not
talk
a
about it.
lot.
Don't say it. Just don't answer
say
the
it,
question.
man.
I'll time mark it.
Because then I gotta dig through it. You tell me we done did 2 hours and 45 minutes.
And you gotta
then
go
you
through
tell
all
me
2 hours and
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I've had to do it. Like, I've had to snatch a couple things on a couple different episodes. But, you know, I get it. You don't want nothing to cause a turf war. You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah.
What goes on in your podcast?
man, it's crazy, man. Man,
I don't even see y'all drinking though. It's like
nah, we don't drink. You know what I'm saying? But it's
So
again,
just sober wildness.
because, again, a lot of the conversations, my interviews be about the stories. So, you know what I'm saying?
Some people don't want to tell all the story.
Or they'll tell too much of certain stories. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
got to be like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying?
See, I've done that on the air. I'm telling a story, and I'll stop myself like, yo, I can't say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But I've run into a lot of people who get like super free, and then when that episode dropped, they were like, "Yo, I don't want no parts of this."
yeah, you
Like the
did.
whole thing?
Yeah, like
they
won't
don't want to
promote.
promote it because they've said things that they're not proud of.
wow.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not gonna put it on. They're not gonna put it on it. Yeah,
I can't say I haven't not done that.
You've definitely done that.
Yeah, you know, sometimes stuff stays on Instagram, some stuff stays on Facebook.
I mean, so yeah,
It's not a dirt thing.
That's why
It's
you
just
have
like,
more than one Facebook.
I don't think I want everybody to know that. So
Because you definitely hit me up recently about.
but I've never hit you up about to erase something.
No.
That's to me. I mean, because obviously it's out in the open,
Yeah,
so
right, yeah,
I have no problems.
Please
with
don't tag me on
It's
that.
just I don't want to make it so easy for someone to hear that. So certain people to hear that.
True.
Do you feel like that because if you know if you were doing 500,000 views a week, like it would be like
It might be a little different.
it's a little different.
It would be a little different.
You would accept it a little
I'd
more.
probably
Probably because you know the sponsorship coming in. There's a lot more fuck it. You know what I mean?
we're
Fuck
getting-
it.
There's a
We're
lot
getting-
more fuck it.
There's a lot more fucking involved once you know what I'm saying?
I
Fuck it.
mean, me personally, like I will say this: I typically don't have an issue putting out my podcast on all of my social media. But when I've been on this one, I'm like, my mama don't need to see this.
See, that's what I'm talking about. My grandmother, who unfortunately is friends with me on Facebook for some stupid reason.
she don't need to listen to our.
No,
She
I
don't
set
need
the
to listen to
privacy so my
Ho is
mom
life.
can't see
She doesn't
it.
need to go scrubbing through Ho is life. Okay, she does not need to do that. That is
I
not.
feel like my podcast isn't that bad for you not to.
I've said some shit though that my mama don't need to hear.
And see, I have my kids. You know, I have
Yeah.
teenage daughters, and they listening. I gotta check myself, like, hey, you can't say that because they're listening. And my oldest, will ask me a question when I get home, like, Dad, what do you mean by, you know what? Why were you listening?
See, you got it good. My daughters don't. Like, my daughter, she just turned 15, and I got an 11-year-old, and like, well, first of all, rap is the last thing on their mind. Like, you know, like, I feel like a failed father, for real. Like,
You should. You
I,
should.
like, you know what I'm saying? For me to be who I am as far as my love for the music, my
Yeah.
daughters, that shit is, like, cringeworthy to them. Like, I'd be like, it's
You
crazy.
know the irony of this?
What's that?
My 10-year-old can rap through the wire if we brought her in here right now.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Really? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, my kids
I feel like that needs to happen.
No, she would never. She'd be like, no, thank you. But
yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can catch her in the car though.
My daughter asked me. My oldest seems to think I know everything, so she'll
That's
just
dope.
ask me questions that I have no idea of what's going on. Like she's watching the Menendez brothers now, Law and Order thing.
How's your daughter?
So my oldest, I don't want to say her age because then it dates me, but she's a teenager.
Doesn't necessarily, but I'm with you.
She's a teenager.
Being
We'll say
that you just told us you started fucking when you was 12.
Yeah.
This is true. Well, she asked me about she'll come in her room and she'll watch the Menendez brothers and come in. I'm doing whatever, I'm blogging, whatever. She'll start asking me questions. I'm like, baby, I'm not watching that. I don't know what's
She's
going
like,
on.
you was alive, nigga.
Yeah, she knows. Dad, you know everything. Your dad. Like, That's
a good feeling.
cool.
Yeah, I don't-
but
I'm dead. I
nah,
don't know
fam.
shit. Like, you know, I guess this is different. You know, so my daughters don't come to me for shit.
You really put a lot of emphasis on
Yeah,
that.
man. They don't. Like,
Then
I mean,
you're not helping with the fraction homework, I'm assuming.
Nah.
Grunge ain't out here doing long division.
Nah. You got a problem in school? Somebody fucking with you? Yeah, I pull up. You know what I mean? But they don't. You know, my kids, like, hip hop is the last thing on their mind, man. Like, that shit is like, it's sad actually.
It is sad.
It bothers me, like, cause I go to like my daughter, both of them play volleyball, so I go to the school
And they play volleyball.
Yeah, so like, and they go to, first of all, they go to Norfolk Academy, which is it's a little different just to pull up anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'll come.
Nah, them parents call the police. I wouldn't do it.
So look, I'm talking about just pulling up to the school in
Oh,
general. is a
period,
little
okay.
different. So I'll go to the volleyball game and they'll turn the speakers on and it'll be like, a minute. And I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers, they'll play not the Bodak Yellow, but Kodak version. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how all the high school seniors know all of it? But my daughters don't know nothing. And mind you, like, it's like 6% blacks in the school, you know what I'm saying? So like out of 1,200, it might be 100, and it goes from first grade to 12th grade. So I'd be like, damn, like, but all the other kids know the hip hop shit. Like, my kids is like,
You failed.
I failed. Like, but I knew.
You gotta start them young though. My baby was 2. She
Yeah,
used to
but
sing
what
the
are you
ad
gonna-
libs on the Lord. Like, what were you doing?
No, I can't. Like, what am I? Like, what? Tell me the hip hop I'm gonna let my daughter listen to.
She was 2.
This is
She
true.
didn't know what the
That's
cuss
it.
words meant.
Yeah,
She
like,
just was like, oh no, like she
it
didn't
was.
care.
It was.
See, I fight that too, though. I fight that
Yeah,
too because
like,
the way
I
hip hop
can't-
is,
they
you
can't
like,
listen to
I don't want my little girl
Bad and
listening to
Bougie.
this.
Like,
You
what
know
am
what I
I
mean?
gonna
Yeah,
listen
I
to?
fight that too.
Now, their mother, she like, cause even when I take them to school in the morning, they can tell you all the sports, cause all we get is Mike and Mike. You ride with me, Mike and Mike. When mom take them to school, they might get some Z104, they might get some Charlemagne the God, Donkey of the Day shit. Like, I don't.
See, that's what I used to do. My old truck, I used to have TVs in the truck. So we would watch cartoons going to school or whatever. But then their mother would take them and listen to whatever she listened to.
Yeah,
And it's
turn up.
like, I can't. I'm just going to go ahead and embrace
My
I feel like
daughter's
these are real
favorite song right
daddy
now.
problems.
It's
My
definitely
favorite,
daddy problems.
my
Me and
daughter's
Rashod
favorite
just
song is
checked out.
Playboy
Yeah.
Cardi Magnolia, but she don't know how did in my sock mean, because she wasn't raised like that, so she don't know what it means. She just singing.
Yeah. But see, then then you run into the, like, I don't want you singing something you don't know what you're singing.
She so on what's it Black Beetle. She asked me what Beetle cream was, and I had to listen to it in context. I was like, I think that mean they getting money like the Beatles. But actually, in the song, he's basically saying his cream interior was like 2 separate bars. But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Did you go to Rap Genius for that?
no, nigga, I write. I can
okay.
follow context clues.
Okay.
Jesus, just because you went to school in Portsmouth,
Ooh,
Actually,
that's
I-
2 Portsmouth jokes.
I actually went to high school in Suffolk.
that's
Oh,
not
that's
better.
even that's not
That's
bad.
not better.
It is. It actually is.
It's so not.
It
but
actually is.
Shout outs to suffocation,
Shout
as
outs.
I like to call it.
I'm
That's
stealing
what everybody
that.
calls
I'm
suffocation.
adding that shit to my lexicon.
There you go.
But
How long
everybody
does it
calls
take
it
you to get on this
suffocation.
side?
20 minutes.
Shit, no.
Everywhere in this area takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Except Hampton. That shit is Egypt. But
I stayed the exit right before Hampton and Monitor Merrimack.
so it literally takes 20 minutes. For
Oh, okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so you just.
Are there high schools in Suffolk?
There's
There are
2 of
3.
them. Oh, they're at third one now?
Yeah.
What's the third one?
Kingsport.
Oh, see.
Yes.
When did they open it?
Like 7 years ago. This isn't going to be a Suffolk talk, though.
I've never been to Suffolk.
God damn, nigga.
Have
I mean,
you
it's
been outside
Suffolk.
of 264?
Yeah.
Okay.
Driving
you
through, but I'm like, visit people? Nah. What I'm peanuts and ham? Nah, I'm good.
Nigga, don't do that.
Nah, I'm
We have
good.
strawberry fields too.
I'm good.
And he got cotton.
I definitely don't want that.
All right, so before we wrap this episode up, we're going to get into some random stuff that kind of fits more the Society X debauchery lane that I go
Is this
for.
a game?
Debauchery.
It's not a game.
Okay.
It's not. It's a random question, though.
Is it rapid fire? Pew pew pew.
No.
Okay.
It's actually based off something that was talked about after my last week podcast.
Okay.
This is when I was
That was when you was fucked up.
gone.
When you sleep on the couch.
Oh wow.
So, one of the young ladies last week said that she brought a conversation of open marriages.
Mm-hmm.
So it had me thinking about what are y'all thoughts on which one is better for a relationship, an open marriage or being swingers?
Is there? Well,
What's
I
the
guess
difference?
you gotta define it.
Yeah. What's
How are you defining an open marriage?
Open
'Cause
marriage-
technically, swingers is an open marriage.
Open marriage to me would be like,
Relationships with other people.
or like I'm out going smashing chicks and my wife is out smashing dudes.
That's a swinger.
But I feel like a swinger.
That's more open.
Yeah, I feel like a swinger is like
do it
y'all.
together.
Yeah, y'all
Swaps and
together.
stuff,
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
And you're asking what is more.
Which one
Healthy?
is better? Yeah, healthier for the. I put this on Facebook last week, and
I
I saw that. Yeah.
And I didn't know what you meant, so I was like, I'm
No,
not
I knew what you meant, but I was like, yeah, I'm not
You
going
want
to
no parts of
answer that because I just knew the comments. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to watch this one.
yeah.
Healthy is a relative question when
Exactly.
it comes to that. I mean, if that's your thing, then you're obviously sold into that lifestyle. Like,
All right, so when you're saying healthy, you mean like the health of the trust level in the relationship.
Which one is better for the overall relationship?
But you can have other fucking problems that could bring.
But if say
Because
sex,
it's
was,
a matter of like you being present or not being present. So we're talking about trust, right?
But see, in that situation, I would say being present. I would think being present would build more trust because you're there with the person. I mean, even though you're interacting with someone else, at least your partner is
So you can
your
see
partner.
what they're doing.
right?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
what if your partner does something that you were like, I didn't teach you that? Like, what if you're like, where'd you get that from?
But I mean, if they're swinging with other people, then I would think those things
Like
would
sucking
just
dick
be.
with the basket weave method.
That's so fucking basic. Anyway,
That is basic, but still, a lot of women don't know that.
That's kind of apples and oranges, man. I mean, like, what's healthier?
What was that hand moving?
Yeah, well,
weave.
Look past my mic.
I didn't do it in conjunction. Just my hands, not my mouth. But there you go.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just
She
think
definitely did them simultaneously. For those of y'all that, yeah, she definitely did.
So,
The mic being right here didn't
so
help.
what are y'all? So what are y'all thoughts on that? Like,
as I said, I think
Listen, man, I'm all for what helps, what works, man. Like if you want to swing, swing.
have any of y'all been to like a swingers club?
No.
I'll tell you this, you know what I'm saying? I know this guy, right? He posted like last October that it was there was supposed to be it was supposed to be a swingers party like last October sometime,
Was
like
that
around
girl?
Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
you talking the one in Atlanta
You gotta ask the
that
host
nobody
of the
showed
show.
up to.
You gotta ask the host of the show because he was the one that posted it. You know what I'm saying? And
he just put you out.
you know, I was searching for plenty
Oh,
details.
no.
Oh,
No, what?
No, he was like the host of the show, but he meant he didn't.
No,
mean
no,
that.
no,
He
no,
meant
no,
the
no,
other
no.
show.
The host of this show. The host of this show.
Oh,
The host of this show. Like, you know what I'm saying? The host of this show. Like, but
Oh, okay. I know you're
something,
talking about.
whatever happened, it never came into fruition that I know of because I couldn't get any more details. I might not
I
have.
was helping somebody promote like a swingers party.
Yeah. Like, you know.
That was me. Yeah.
And I definitely was my antennas went up.
You were intrigued.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
It could have been something.
yeah,
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
interesting.
Just,
Yeah. Check this out.
I never been to anything like that. I'm not interested in going to anything like that. I'm very voyeuristic, but
So you'll go there. Would you go and watch?
no, because what I found that most of the people who participate in stuff like that are ugly.
And that was my
Well, there you got your answer.
that was my thing. I was like, I don't know if this area is
That's
equipped
the
with
question.
enough people of the
It's enough
of the,
people.
No, listen, of the like mindset that are also of quality.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
there you
I feel like if you went to one
That-
in Atlanta and it
I'm
was
not
a
doing
certain
one in
level,
Atlanta.
No, I
Yeah,
understand.
Nah, I'm staying
yeah,
away
yeah.
from that.
I
But
was gonna
but
say
what I'm-
DC, but I don't even know.
You
if
don't
I'm
want to do that
doing
either. You don't want to do that.
I get where you're
Gotta take
going
me
with
to
that, but you
Florida.
were talking about the
Go to
level of
Suffolk.
attractiveness of people who are like-minded. You're more likely to
Suffolk.
get that somewhere else. But I just found, even though y'all ever watch Real Sex on HBO and Sneak and do that when you were little, the people were always ugly on that show. Like all the people who was into that shit, like none of them were attractive.
But is that something that goes inside with that? Like, or do you have to have a level of attractiveness to be wanting to experiment these things?
Yeah, I
Where
mean, I'm
you
not
asked
just-
me about me.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
want
just-
to look
I'm
at
just-
two ugly
I'm just
motherfuckers
posing
have
a new
sex. I just don't.
Yeah, it's gotta
posing
go
a
You're
right.
saying people that are most sexually free are the also the most ugly.
No,
no, no.
I'm saying
They
that
have to
in terms of-
compensate, so they have to do.
You have to
no, I'm
curate
saying.
it. I think it has to be curated
Right.
right. Like I think, you know what I'm saying, I think there's a lot of people that would be willing to be involved, but the fucking it's taboo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
Kind
ideology.
of like, damn, do I really want to? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like listen,
The most people that are outwardly sexual.
Joe Pro used to have some mean lock-ins, right? Like
You been to a couple of?
I've been to a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? It's a very big crowd. You know what I'm saying? Very diverse. You know what I'm saying? And when I say diverse, I mean from on a level of attractiveness. Like it's very, it's all types of shit in there. There's a lot of ratchet, a lot of. I don't know that.
It's curiosity in the room.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's curiosity, but it's action too. It's just action
No,
packed.
I've seen videos.
Yeah, it's a lock in. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Joe Pro.
Shout out to Joe Pro,
out to
man.
Joe Pro,
I mean, he was
That's the homie. That's the homie.
If anybody looking to start one of these days, holler at me, man. We can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you trying to make a coin. So back to your original question,
No,
like
not a coin. I'm not trying to.
I believe in you. So back to your original question, open relationship versus swingers. I've met swingers, and mostly like I don't believe it's really a thing because the guy will really be like into it, and the girl will just be going along for the fucking ride because she's trying to keep her man. That's been my experience. But in terms of like open relationship, I know a lesbian couple that's legally married, but they're polyamorous and they have several girlfriends. Some of them they engage with. Oh, you're stupid. Some of them they engage with together, and some of them they engage with
Now,
individually.
that's interesting. Polyamory, I've always found that very interesting.
I mean,
What does that mean?
There's
Maybe you have
multiple.
multiple
I got an-
relationships, but not like you're just sleeping around. Like you have multiple girlfriends or multiple wives.
Like a man who has 2 wives. Or,
no, that's
the
polygamy.
common.
Polyamory is
No, I mean when you're all
relationship.
together, when everyone has
okay.
in one household, they're all together.
No.
You're thinking of like
That's polygamy. Polyamory is like I'm with you on Tuesday and I'm with you on Wednesday.
So
And
yours
then
is just
on
not
Thursday,
married.
I might
No.
be with you and you.
Oh, because-
polygamy is
No, that's
they're all
polygamy.
together.
No,
that's
polygamy is
polyamory.
not, polygamy doesn't mean they all live together.
But it means that they all have a covenant together. As opposed to like there's interconnectedness. And so like I might be with you today and you might be with Jim tomorrow. Well, not you.
Yeah, please don't. My
But
wife is
you
gonna see
understand what I'm
this.
saying? Like that's how that works. Like it's a web of fucking people who have relationships with each other.
okay.
Sounds similar, but I get your point.
Usually polygamy is like a dude with multiple chicks. Usually.
Is there ever like a woman with multiple guys?
husbands.
Yeah, I mean
There's a name for
That's
that.
a
I feel
reality
like you know
show.
what
That
in
is a
the
reality
it
making.
happens because today's
Britain.
society, everything's gotta be even.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
But
Game of Thrones, shit.
No, there's a name for it. It's a thing, but it's not a common thing.
Yeah.
Most men, I would say, especially in the Western world, can't handle that. Like,
Yeah, I know I could.
yeah, I'm not with this shit.
but
so.
they couldn't handle
Like my
being
wife
with a
having, like,
woman who
another-
had multiple husbands.
Could you handle swinging?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm kind of all in, or just be a slut, man, Like
You don't want to share your woman.
Yeah, like, and then
Sharing is caring.
the maintenance of
No.
a relationship in itself, like, but you want multiple of that? You want to maintain multiple vehicles? I just can't.
No.
I be having
All
people
in.
talk about it. I'm like, I
Polygamy
don't
is
think I could do
definitely
it.
something that I think is it takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm good.
if there are people that are equipped for it, I don't know that I'm personally equipped for that. But it's the same thing with like we talk about swinging, like a lot of that is fetish. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
if you like if you're into like you
Seeing
got
your woman fuck niggas.
yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like if you
While you in the corner jerking off.
because listen, there's a like
Okay.
I from time to time I might peruse a porn site, right? And I'll be like, yo,
From time to time. Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, why is this title mother and son? Like, why? Like,
Gross.
Them niggas got fetish.
there are people that really gets them. You know what I'm saying? So swinging is no different. Like, I think, you know what I'm saying? If you, I don't know. Like,
I will say this. I think with the way society is going, I think within the next couple of years, it's going to be more commonplace.
swinging.
Polyamory, polygamy, all those things will be more commonplace.
Oh, let me
because the
explain
way
to you.
the world
Polyamory is
going.
really commonplace. People just not honest about it.
This is
Yeah, they
true.
just
This
don't,
is
yeah.
very true.
Well,
You'd be
if it's not-
surprised.
If they're not honest about it, it's not like.
No, I know technically it's not polyamory.
Right.
But in terms of
But,
like
like,
people
yeah.
being sexually free with more than one person, like that's a thing. They're just not honest about it.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
Well, what I mean is more relationships with more than one person. You
Do
can
you
see
think
that more.
like women are doing that because there's not enough guys?
Well, the women
I
that
think
I
that's-
just told you about are lesbians, so it's not even guys are not a factor.
I think that will be a factor though.
Well,
I think
they take in guys too, but it just.
I don't think there's a rhyme or a reason for it. I think you just
There's a reason
you,
for
It's
that.
a reason for it.
you like what you like. You want to smash a bunch of people. I mean, that's what people want to do.
And we're getting more sexually free. Things are going to start happening.
Yeah.
It's just natural. It's a natural
not what that works.
And you want the
evolution.
benefits of a relationship or a marriage. You want like those, like, you know, whatever those benefits may be for someone.
But that's
having
more
somebody
so-
to take care of you when you old.
yes, you
No,
take
it's
care.
deeper.
Yeah.
That's more so
I
women,
know what you mean,
though.
but
Yeah,
that list of whatever it is, whatever
we're raised
you
that
and your
way.
wife have together, you get that plus you get to smash other chicks.
You can't binge watch TV with everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Grunge.
You can't binge watch TV with everybody. You can't. Everybody can't cook for you. You
Come
can't
bust
cook
your
for
bumps
everybody.
for you.
This is true.
Just certain shit. You know
This is
what
very
I'm saying?
true. Yeah, it's very
Like,
true.
you know.
I don't want to bust every nigga bumps either. Like,
Yeah, it's just you know what I'm saying.
don't act like you don't know.
Some
what
things
that's
are
love.
reserved.
Yeah,
That's true.
there's people you will be more willing to be sexually engaged with more people than you would be with
The
letting
actual
them
intimacy.
to certain shit. Like
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
shit
yeah.
for
That's
everybody. Like,
it's going to be separated. Sex and intimacy to me is almost separate at this point. People
just-
have
yeah.
very casual sex, but you're very, very rarely you're intimate with someone.
I was the king of pump and dump. Just,
Jesus Christ.
I was
Just throw it off the backboard.
Oh
there.
yeah, right off the back of the truck.
I just never
So,
believed in that.
Pump and dump.
Yep.
I gotta use that one.
Yeah,
I steal that shit too. I'm stealing
There you go. Pump and dump, suffocation.
Pump and dump.
yeah.
Fuck the beehive.
Yeah, that's all that.
Oh, I meant to go into this conversation earlier. I had the episode I named kind of local here. I Be Massaging.
Oh yeah.
Right after that song dropped, for some reason I was at the cookout and like everybody was talking about it. And during the podcast we kept saying it. So I named the episode I Be Massaging. And that episode, like the numbers went up.
Just because
people,
of the title.
people were
Everybody
looking
wanna know
for
about baby.
exactly.
Man, that shit is. I'm gonna just tell y'all that shit is. I ripped the YouTube video the day it came out and put it on my. Just dropped it on Facebook because I felt like you can't just live off of YouTube. Like,
Right.
man, that shit is at like 19,000 views right now. And that
Here's
was
the-
Friday.
here's
And
the thing
it's doing
about
the
that.
same. And YouTube is 19,000 the same time. And I'm
They
like,
had like 25K last time I looked in that video.
Here's the thing about that.
I looked today, it
and
was only like 19.
It might have been on more than one channel though.
Oh, okay.
That's very possible.
Yeah,
And
but
I've said this on my podcast. I would like to have an honest conversation about that song, but without sounding like you're hating. Because you can't, in these days, you can't give criticism about something and people are like, oh, he just hating. But I think there's a,
I
think
feel like
there's a
some
lot
people
of,
are actually hating. Though.
Yeah, because I don't really. I mean, and it's my personal take. I don't think there's really. I love the song. I
I
think
do
the
too.
song
Yeah.
is an amazing record. Like, I think that shit is like when I first heard that shit, I was like, damn.
I'm sorry, but if you listen to Juvenile High, you can't fucking hate on Baby.
oh yeah, I'm not
It's the
hating.
same fucking thing.
Dirty
Not hating
Bastard, you can't.
Not hating on
I haven't
Baby
heard
at
the
all.
song, so
What?
I think the video takes away from the song.
Suffolk. They
I
don't
think
got
I think
FM
the,
radio. It does, yeah.
the little clip of him freestyling was great, but the full length video, I think it takes something away from the song because he added bars, and it's kind of like, okay, you fell off at this point. But it's just, I think,
I'm not mad at it. Baby's having a moment.
yeah, let him have his moment. I'm all for that. It's just funny. I'm curious about his business. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I
Everybody
watched
says
the
that.
video. It was like 18 different logos on the video. Like I'm sure everybody's in his pocket. He's doing shows at DTLR. Like,
Oh yeah, baby.
things
I don't know. He was at Hampton's homecoming.
I don't
And
know.
he had
I'm
a
just
crew
concerned.
around him, and I spoke to them.
Yeah, he keep. I mean,
But
he's
they seem like-
insulated.
and they seem like they're like
moving.
moving. Yeah, like they had him where he needed to be to get attention from people who would not normally pay attention to him
Yeah.
at a homecoming. I imagine that he's probably gonna be in Norfolk State this weekend. So. I mean, it's just,
No,
you
baby,
know,
move.
the
Shout out
kids
Norfolk
from,
State homecoming.
from everywhere is like they go home at Christmas time and like, listen to this shit. So if they still care at Christmas,
Yeah,
but
Probably won't.
No, they will.
Well, he has
This
a-
I mean,
record-
they'll care at Thanksgiving. So
this
he has a
record
new
about-
single. He has a new single. It's pretty much the same thing. What is nothing? I think is coming.
He got a couple records. He got a
It's
record.
pretty much the same.
next
He's
record
saying
supposed to
it.
be,
That's like his formula now.
Juvenile made her, and then he made You Understand. Like I don't care. It's
Nah,
Yeah,
he
he
got
made back
a
to
record
back.
called Pinky Ring.
knows
That's
about.
crazy. You know what I'm saying?
And 400 Degrees was
And he got
a great album.
He got a like a freestyle on Dirty Dies mixtape called Necessary. That's,
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
yeah. That over the Freaking You. That's like a freestyle. Those over the Jodeci Freaking You remix.
okay.
Joint, like, but yeah, he got some different joints other than that format. You know what I'm saying? The Pinky Ring is something else. Like, but yeah, I think Baby gonna be all right. I think Baby going.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, we about to wrap this shit up
For sure.
because I'm kind of sleepy now.
You gotta ride the suffer.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
That is true. So,
You got to get Airbnb before you go.
not at all.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you.
Airbnb.
So, where can people find y'all at? Wait.
Of course, me. If you're a fan of my show, Words with Wade, it's on Instagram, iTunes, Twitter, all the same. Words with Wade, or can follow me at the Wade Blogs on everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, iTunes, Xbox, whatever. It's all the Wade Blogs.
Okay. Leave.
You can find me on the gram at Young Leezy, YUNGLEEZY. Please follow Kinda Movie Critics also on Instagram. And please follow the On Air Network. We bring the Society X podcast, which
That is
you're
true.
listening to right now. In addition to Kinda Movie Critics, That's What I Wanted, by invite only, and Live from the 7-5.
Like there's another one.
No,
There's not another.
no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're doing some things, but
I got
not
you.
quite yet.
Okay.
On Air Network, I'm one half. Treezy the other half. We have a team of amazing young talent. Thugger being one of
Shout out to Thugger and all.
them. Thugger. She doesn't like to be called
Is it-
Thugger.
Is it Thugger or
No, it's
Thugga?
Thugger.
Just want to clarify.
I like it. It reminds
funny.
me of Trey Songz Trigger. Same thing. It's no disrespect. Love you, girl.
Real sensitive about the ER these days.
you can also find my personal podcast on Twitter at Kinda Movie Crits, because Twitter's a hater. It didn't let us get all the fucking letters in. Or you can follow me. I'm rarely on there, but I be talking shit in the middle of the night because I have insomnia at SameOC, SameOlecee.
All right, Grunge.
You can check me out on Instagram, Opinion Hated Podcast, Grunge Gallardo, Facebook, same thing, Opinion Hated Podcast with Grunge Gallardo. Twitter, I don't really be up there, but if y'all tweet me, I'll get the alert. It's Grunge Gallardo. Yeah, man, same place.
All right, cool. Kory, what
And that's Kory Ray Smith, Kory with a K. And you can hear me on Kinda Movie Crits. And you can hear me here at the Society X podcast.
I like that.
Okay.
Corey thinks he's permanent. Is he permanent?
I don't know. I'm here.
I mean, I'm coming for
just
your
here.
seat, though. Like,
I'm
I
just
miss doing
here.
this. This shit's fun.
I'm just here.
He says that he is, but he's only gonna be here for probably like another 3
Listen,
episodes or something
I'm
like
just
that.
here till Rashod fires me. I thought I was a goner last week. So
you
thought
definitely were.
I thought I definitely was a goner, but I thought I was gonna get that text like, nah, homie, we're not recording tonight. And
I don't
then
really need your energy.
Yeah. I'm here as long as Rashod would like me to be here.
He's gonna say he got to clean his room or something.
My shoe collection
Yeah.
in
Oh.
disarray.
One Wednesday it'll happen.
Me and my boo
so
had an oyster night tonight.
Yeah, you do it on Wednesdays, you asshole.
See?
One Wednesday I will cancel on you.
I know
I'm
you
just
will.
letting you know.
I know, yeah. That's cool. Well, you can find me everywhere at Shad Harris. Also, Society X Podcast on all media platforms. Make sure y'all rate and subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. That's right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
SoundCloud, too.
SoundCloud as well. Because iTunes is really fucking up my views with this little algorithm. I don't really fuck with it. So we need to...
You learned that word in Portsmouth.
What, algorithm?
Yeah.
No,
You probably learned it from Facebook.
no, I'm just smart.
Nigga, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just smart.
Use the sentence.
I just did, asshole. But yeah, so make sure y'all follow, rate, subscribe. Give me a good rating. Give me a number 5 or something, because y'all be bullshitting. So please do that. So yeah, matter of fact, whoever listens to this next week, I'm thinking about trying to do an episode with strippers. So if y'all know some strippers,
We've done that.
nigga, don't steal my thunder.
No stun on him.
That was episode
Yeah.
20.
Gosh almighty.
I'm just, hey, we had video. Couldn't even post the video because it got so, yeah.
Gosh almighty.
Yeah, it was lit.
You turn that
Well, our
junk up.
video's about to be more lit than yours.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
you know I'm competitive, yeah.
Hey,
I'm gonna have them right here
Do
on
what
the
you do.
table.
We're
Do
not
what you
going to
do.
do that because we only need this
Man,
thing.
Kory just told me I can't knock on this jank, man. You damn sure.
yeah, I don't know if it's 30
No.
enough, but
For
this
those of you
table-
who can't see, Treezy and Thugger over there high-fiving over the strippers that's coming in.
Yeah, we're gonna have that. So if y'all know some strippers, please tag them.
Hey, I refer them to you. I got you.
Oh, okay,
What
cool.
would make your podcast better is if during all podcasts there was just a stripper here for 2 hours.
But I don't know how much conversation would happen if that was the case.
No, he's ignoring him. Just whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying?
Woo, woo, woo. All right, well, that's it. So good day, good evening, good night, Society X Podcast. Thanks for listening.